Hello guys, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of the Otumba Adams Show. I think at the point I was posting. I wasn't sure if I was live with us. All right, how are you guys doing? How is the weekend going? For those of you that went for Owambe, so how has been the day for you? I was actually in the middle of a conversation with someone, so I had to check my phone to be sure that we're done talking and tell the person that I'll be live on air to come and meet you guys, to come and share everything about what I have to do today with you guys. All right, so it's another weekend, and in this week, it's a new month. Happy New Month! Happy New Month! Happy New Month, guys. Happy New Month to you guys. We are in the month of May. It's wonderful. We give God the praise for life, for good health, for everything that we have ever had. All glory to God. All right, so how have you guys been? How has the weekend been for you guys? I hope you guys are being productive as always. I can see someone taking a peek and giving me a like on Facebook. Thank you very much. So how has life been generally? So I decided that in the month of May, um, I'll be interviewing entrepreneurs every Saturday between now and the last Saturday in the month of May. So today's broadcast would be having a guest come on the show. For those of you that saw the flyer before the program started, I am sure that you know who it would be. His name is Adeboye Christopher, and he's a wonderful man. I've known him for the past, I think we've known each other for the past 11, no, 10 years now. 10 years. We met in 2011 during my NYSC. Okay, when it comes on the show, we'll probably talk more about that, but he's been a wonderful person over the years, and I thought it's wise to bring him up on the show and make him the first guest that we'll be talking about his entrepreneurial journey and everything else that he has been doing so far in the entrepreneurial field. And so I'm trying to get a note that I was supposed to write something about him. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it is good. It's fun. What am I even saying? Anyway, he's going to be here anytime soon, and we would set the ball rolling. We'll definitely be setting the ball rolling. All right. So if you're there, if you're watching, please put your name and location in the comment section. I think I need to readjust this thing like this. Yeah, perfect, perfect. If you're there, you're watching me right now, put your name, put your location in the comment section. Let me welcome you, especially before I bring up the guests for today. So, would you like to introduce yourself? Because it seems as if both of us would not go for one day and you're here to learn something. So please put your name, put your location in the comment section, and let me welcome you, especially pending the time the guest for the show shows up. All right. The person right away. Anyway, no problem. It's one of those things. All right, so I'll be reading the profile of Christopher Adeboye right now. Christopher Olamide Adeboye is a pastor and businessman. He's the CEO of Excelsior Prints and Education, or can be called Excelsior Classical Concepts. He's been into the printing business for the past 6 to 7 years. His hobbies are music and sports, especially table tennis, and studied physics education at the University of Ilorin. Uh, One of the things that he has been, or that he has done over the years, is giving exercise books and practical books to students in secondary schools as gifts and reward for excellence at quiz competitions, both in Kwara State and in Oyo State. All right, so let me send him a message because I'm expecting him to be here by now. Let me just drop a message for him. He'll be here to tell us about his entrepreneurial journey and how it all started for him. And hopefully we all get to learn something on the show. So let me tell him that he should hear Okay, so I've dropped him a message, and I'm waiting for him to come up on the show so that we can kickstart officially. And if you're still there and you want to introduce yourself, please do that. And it would really, really be an honor to have you guys here. So while we're waiting for him, I did something earlier today. Let me quickly search for it, and I would play it for you guys to listen to. Today being May 1st, Workers' Day, I created an audio for every worker out there and to encourage everybody that work pays. There's no shortcut to success in life. And a lot of us would remember this, what's the word now? This poem, this Yoruba poem, Iṣẹ́ l'Ògùn Ìṣẹ́, Múra síṣẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi. Okay, so I did an English version of the same tune, and I would like to play it for you guys to listen to while we are waiting for Mr. Christopher to come on the show. I can see Mr. Christopher right now, but please just give me a second. Let me quickly play this, and we would be done with. We'll be done with very, very soon. So let me share my screen. Mr. Christopher, I can see you. I can see you. Just give me a second, sir. Share screen. Let's share the screen. Let's share the screen and get started. If this thing is taking longer than normal, like I'm just gonna ditch this audio part that I want to do. And okay, so I hope the audio will be, you guys will be able to I'm coming on, nope, I'm not doing it right. Okay, so this is me sharing my screen. Mr. Christopher, if you can hear this, let me know. I just want to be sure that I'm doing it the right way. Iṣẹ́ ni ògùn ìṣẹ́, the English version. Can you hear it, sir? Work is the antidote for poverty. So, my dear friend, focus on your work. Working hard is the key to success. If we do not have anyone to lean on, we appear lazy. And if we do not have anyone to rely on, we will have to focus on our work. Perhaps your mother may be wealthy, and your father may have a ranch full of horses. If you depend on their riches alone, I tell you, you will end up in disgrace. Whatever gain one does not work hard to earn, usually does not last. However, whatever gain one works hard to earn will definitely last in one's hands. The arm is a relative, the elbow a sibling. If the world loved you today because you have money, it is certain they will love you tomorrow. Or perhaps, if you were in a noble position, the world will honor you with cheers and smiles. But when you become poor or are struggling to get by, then you will see how the world mocks you. Education can also launch you to greater heights. So, focus on getting the best out of it. Should you see a group of people mocking education, I beg you, don't be found among such critics. Ignorance surely brings suffering and hardship, and truancy is the mother of regret. Do not play with your early years, my friend. Focus on your work. Time waits for no man. Okay, all right, so that's being said, let me bring on the man, the myth, the legend to the show. Welcome, Mr. Christopher.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show.
I'm very
okay. So let me quickly talk about. Let me quickly talk about Christopher. How we met. We both served in the same local government. We were in the same club during NYSC. He was my president. My president, sir. He was my president,
and you were the secretary.
Yes, I was the secretary of the club, and I was always like doing the minutes of the last meeting. Una suffer me that year, una suffer me. Anyway, it was really a great experience, and over the years we've kept in touch. We've gotten to see from time to
Yeah,
time. It's kind of like you came around to Akure to do something,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we got to see. It was really a lovely experience. So thank you, sir, for being a part of the show.
Thank
Okay,
you for
so
having me.
all right, sir. So going straight to what we have for today, you are currently a businessman and a pastor. So since this program is solely for business, I would like to
Yeah.
ask the first question. What made you go into business? Because I remember that like you studied physics education. To a lot of people, they would expect you to be a teacher right now. But what made you go into business, sir?
Well, I've always had passion for business, and I have been a businessman right from my school time. In fact, from childhood, since I was going to primary school, I've been taking things to the school to sell and so on. So that
All the way
passion
sell
has
sweets for
been
school,
there
Abi.
all along. All this, this lollipop and ice cream and so on. Then, so
Okay.
that is what I do sell uh, way back, even at primary school, and even down to my university days. I remember that in the hostel, instead of us going to the butcher to go and buy something like bread and so on, I
Mhm.
collect bread in the hostel. All these things. There was it. So I sell things even in the hostel that a a roommate was challenged and started selling some other things. So that my room became a business room.
Ha 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 ha.
So
Cool, cool.
and that is how I've started. Even after the service, I started something in Jeba all along. So I've always been into business.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Okay, so
Yeah.
I would literally say that like the business thing has been in you, like peak. It's been like
Yeah.
it's in you. Okay, so
Yeah.
why printing? Why did you decide to go into the printing business? Because that's what you've been doing for the past 6 to 7 years now.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Well, printing is a very good thing. What actually there was a time I when I moved down from to Ilorin from Jeba, I got an office work. I think as at that time, that office work was maybe getting me about paying me 30,000 naira per month. So I just decided I would just go to the office from morning till night, sit down, doing nothing. So I was
That's
just like,
fine.
I am wasting away. I spent only 1 year. The date clocked 1 year was there. I left the work. So
Hmm.
it's my time was wasting away and so on. So I just decided I need to do something. So bit by bit, I have some people into this. I look at what they do. Sometimes I visit somebody, and then by the time I see what he is doing, I go back to practice it and something like that. That's how I actually got into the printing business, and I started knowing some things. How do we print? How do we about this and that, and that's how I got into the printing work.
All right, cool, cool. So I need to ask, you starting up, how difficult was it for you to source capital? Because that is one of the issues most business or most people, most youths, whenever they are about to start a business, always face the capital syndrome. Because we know that like banks would not loan you because they will tell you that like they need
Yeah.
collateral from you to know if you can actually also so it's just in case if the business should collapse, they would have something to fall back on and then like they can be able to like retrieve their money. So how were you able to source for money? Or is it that like your parents have one money, maybe like yeah, one OB or Babalu, somewhere that like they have money. So how did you start off? Printing business is not a small, but it's not a small boy's business. So how were you able to start off and raise capital for yourself?
I think the issue is concentration on. If you want to go into printing business, even if you have 150 million, you are just starting up, and
Okay.
that is it. Even if you have 150 million naira, you are just starting up, because printing is so wide that you may not be able to exhaust all aspects. But let me take you back to when I was in the university.
Okay.
Then I wanted to do all this lamination in the hostel, lamination of certificates and so on. I wanted to do that. At that time, I think they were selling all those laminating machines and so on. I needed about 20,000, and even a printer. I needed about 20,000 naira to start up. But the
Okay.
issue is 20,000 naira never came up.
Oh.
It was so difficult for me to get it done. I just decided, okay, what can I do? I I tell you, I started with 100 naira kuli kuli.
Whoa.
100 naira kuli kuli was what I
Okay.
started with. In a week, it rose to that in a week, I buy kuli kuli worth of 3,000 naira to sell.
Wow. Wow.
I added gari, I added sugar, I added bread, and so on. Before you know it, if I wanted to go to that printing work, I had the money to go into it already.
Oh, so your capital came from the businesses you've been doing over the years.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Exactly. So that has been and of course I told you that after we finished service in Jeba, I was at Jeba, I waited and I was doing some other business. I was doing popcorn business, supplying supermarkets, of course, Lifetime supermarkets, Amasco
Mm-hmm.
supermarkets. Amasco was the biggest supermarket in Jeba. So I
Trust me,
was
I can't remember any one of those supermarkets. I still remember Lifecam supermarket, but I cannot remember any other supermarkets in Niger
All
State
right, all
anymore.
right. So I was supplying Lifecamps market. I was supplying Amasco in town. I was supplying some schools and so on. And before you know it, things began to take shape. And it has
Nice.
been over the years. And that was how I started, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. So printing business, and when I wanted to start the printing business, you just have to take it one after the other. You cannot go into this. For example, in printing, we have customization. In printing, we have what we call direct image. We have several things. We have several things. We have the designing. We have the this printing of the flyers and so on. Operators. We have so many things, but you just need to take this one at a time. So focus. By the time what can I start with this little thing I have? And then from there, we'll be able to grow it.
Grace, Grace. Like what I love more about what you've said so far is the fact that like you started from kuli kuli. Okay, fine. This is not a motivational video that like you're going to say you have to aspire to perspire to require and to acquire. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about. But
yeah,
it goes to show that like you can actually start small if you are willing to put all your energy into it. I guess you found a niche that was a loophole that was nobody
mm-hmm.
was feeling, like you started off there.
Exactly.
Now, because one of the issues I have with a lot of entrepreneurs out there is this: they all want to do what every other person is doing, but they tend not to
Mm,
focus on the part that like nobody else is looking into, and then try to like grow it from there. No matter how little it is,
yeah, that's true.
no matter the time that like it will take you to grow, as long as it is not saturated, I want to believe that like if you're consistent with it, you can actually make enough money from there and then transit to something else that like you want to do on the long run. Okay.
Definitely.
That said, my next question goes thus: what are the challenges that you have faced so far since you started business? What are the challenges that you've been facing? Government,
Yeah.
personal, and the like. What challenges have you faced?
All right. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things. Of course, you might say how, but the issue fund is part of it, because when starting a business in a little way is not very easy. is not very easy. And looking at what we have in Nigeria now, it is only those who start big that can make money. And that is just the truth based on what we have in Nigeria now. There are other supermarkets, but when ShopRite came, they started making. I remember that ShopRite in Ilorin, I think when they first came to Ilorin, they were making like 12 million naira per day, 12 million naira sales in a single day. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but although it has dropped down to about 4-5 million naira, but yet, how many businesses can actually make that in a single day? 4 million, 5 million, even 1 million naira in a day. How many businesses can do that? So
Very true.
So funding is a great a challenge. Funding has been a very great challenge. So we actually have to leverage on some other things or on people for us to be able to carry out some of our activities, even as printers. And all this devaluation of naira is seriously affecting. Whenever naira is devalued, of course, other currencies like dollars and so on will go up. So there's actually fluctuates in the market of all, buying paper, buying all these stuffs and so on. Materials are becoming very expensive. There was a day, there was a particular, I think last year, yeah, towards the end of last year, practically every day paper was increasing every single day. The price you give customer today, you need to tell the customer tomorrow that price cannot be. Or you simply project that, okay, in case this customer wants to do this in a week's time, what would be the price? So everybody is shouting and so on, and that is just it. And of course, another thing in printing is there's what we call printing season. Season. There's a season in printing. It doesn't work every time. There's a period of the year that you have a lot on your hands. You have a lot of work to do. That if you are not very careful, you will disappoint in terms of meeting deadlines and so on. And there are times that even before you get work done in a single month, it will give you an issue. So these are some of the things, and so what we do is we use the rainy days to care for the dry season. Definitely when there is mulch and so on, you will use it to care for the dry season. So that is what we have been operating because of the seasons. So printing seasons, for example, they will tell you from September, October to March season. And of course, you can be so sure that the materials in the market will not be the same. They will be increased. They will go up. And once they go up, for them to come down, it is always an issue. So challenges on pricing and so on. One other challenge is we have all these people that just take work. Some people can be in the office. Instead of them to allocate jobs, instead of them to give work to certified printers, because I'm part of the ASPON, Association of Printers of Nigeria. I'm part of them. So instead of them to give jobs and so on, they will collect it as contracts themselves and give you just a little percentage of it. Yes, peanuts. Even though they know nothing, even when they know nothing about the work, they will collect it. Yeah, they will collect it and just give you peanuts. It is very disheartening. Nowadays, most of students don't give printers work again. They just go directly to whatever they want to do and get their things done. So these are some of the challenges we have in the printing sector, and it's seriously affecting. But by God's grace, we trust God to help us. As long as we are able to unite ourselves together, we know we'll be able to overcome it by God's grace.
Amen. That's a great one. All right, so I'm going to touch a little bit on the the dry days that you spoke about. On those, during those periods, do you look for new businesses that can give you something pending the time that that the business picks up again, or you just spend the money that you've made from the rainy days or from the great days, and then like during the dry days, so you bring the money from the rainy days to the dry days. Is that how you run it, or you look for a new line of business to do, pending the time that like things pick up again?
Of course, I'm a businessman. There are so many things we are involved in. There are so many things I do. Apart from doing being in printing work, I am also into real estate and so on. So there are some things that will actually do that can easily fetch us money to take care of that.
Great, great, great. I admire your spirit. I love your spirit since I have met you. You are this kind of person that like I think the first time I met you, I was like, "Ah, who is this Robo?" You know, like normal mentality of every human that like just someone that like you just judge the person
Yeah,
without actually having to miss the person. But when I got
yeah,
to know you,
sure.
I saw the type of spirit you had, and I was like, nah, this dude right here. Oh, what happened? He left. Anyway, let's see if he's going to come back. I am guessing his network tripped off. And I hope you guys have been enjoying the discussion so far. The topic, this is a part one series of the entrepreneur's perspective. All we've been doing so far is bring an entrepreneur on the show, talk to them, ask them questions about how they have been running their businesses, the challenges they've been facing, and what they do to get by when it is dry for them. Okay, so if you're there and you're watching me, you could probably like type one or two questions that you might have for the presenter, or if you have any question pertaining whatever it is that we're doing right now to me, please type it out while I wait for my guest to return on the show. It's actually surprising that like network just did what it did while the show is going on. I want to send him a message to be sure that like he's still gonna come back. If not, we'll have to like call the show. We have to bring the show to an end. All right. So let me quickly touch on some of the things that like he made mention of on the show. Um, he said that like you can start small, find an area that people are not crowded in, and start from there. Right? It is not necessary that you have to like follow the crowd and do something big. Look for something that like people are not necessarily doing and focus on it and grow from there. He started off with Kuli Kuli, and at that time, when he was still in the university, Kuli Kuli, the sales of Kuli Kuli might not have been something big. He started with that, and then like he was able to like get 30,000 naira worth of order every week. Now, to you, you might feel that like 30,000 naira is small, but it is still something. He started from somewhere and he began to grow. He added other things to it, the gari, the bread, and the every other thing that like you could actually do. And from there, it was easier for him to venture into the printing business. Another thing he made mention of was this, that when he started the printing business, he did not go all in at once. If he could afford just this machine for now, he focused on it, got it. He kept on working. When he was able to like acquire something else, he did what? He bought that thing, added it to the original thing that he was doing, and then he kept on moving. Now that is the spirit of an entrepreneur. If you do not take anything away from this meeting, know that like everything is step by step. You may not necessarily have all the money in the world, but if you are willing to start from a level where the business is not crowded and you are willing to grow, there and then your business is going to do what? Is going to boom on the long run. He's not where he wants to be yet, but he's still heading there. So I am waiting to see if he will still be coming back. If he would not, then I would be bringing the show to an end. He's trying to reconnect, but it is not coming up. I wouldn't know why it is not connecting, and it is really, really disheartening. But then I hope that like you guys have been able to learn one or two things on today's show. I'm still hoping that like he gets to come back on the show because he's saying that like the network is not connecting him back. Uh okay, he's asking how does he reconnect to the show. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what I can say to him to bring him back on the show. Nigerian factor. The network just pulled him out, and we were already having a great session. I had like 2 or 3 more questions to ask him before we come to an end. So I'm still going to wait for him for the next 1 minute, 2 minutes, and if it doesn't come up on the show, then we are going to bring the show to an end. If you are there, you're watching, and you haven't introduced yourself, let us take this time to, introduce ourselves. Just put your name, your location in the comment section. Let me welcome you specially. Let me ask how your week has been. And if there's anything interesting that happened during your week, share with me while I wait for our guest to come back on the show. So here I am, and I'm still waiting for him. I am waiting for him to come back to the show. Oh, okay, so you guys are seeing my face right now, like fine boy. I'm waiting for my what's the word now? For our guest to come back on the show. So maybe what I will do is, pending the time that he comes back, I'm going to play this audio that I played earlier. I'm going to play it for us again, and hopefully we get to learn something, talking about hard work and the need to work hard so that we would become great in life.
Iṣẹ́ ni oògùn ìṣẹ́, the English version. Work is the antidote for poverty. So, my dear friend, focus on your work. Working hard is the key to success. If we do not have anyone to lean on, we appear lazy. And if we do not have anyone to rely on, we will have to focus on our work. Perhaps your mother may be wealthy, and your father may have a ranch full of horses. If you depend on their riches alone, I tell you, you will end up in disgrace. Whatever gain one does not work hard to earn usually does not last. However, whatever gain one works hard to earn will definitely last in one's hands. The arm is a relative, the elbow a sibling. If the world loved you today because you have money, it is certain they will love you tomorrow. Or perhaps, if you were in a noble position, the world will honor you with cheers and smiles. But when you become poor or are struggling to get by, then you will see how the world mocks you. Education can also launch you to greater heights. So, focus on getting the best out of it. Should you see a group of people mocking education, I beg you, don't be found among such critics. Ignorance surely brings suffering and hardship, and truancy is the mother of regret. Do not play with your early years, my friend. Focus on your work. Time waits for no man.
Okay, so I'm guessing on this note, we have to bring the show to an end. We have waited for our guest to come back, but unfortunately, we were unable to get him back on the show. Maybe another time I would be able to bring him back and we'll get to finish up this session. But right now, we have to bring the show to an end. Thank you all for staying. For those of you that stuck with us till the very end, we're grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Next week, Saturday, we'll be bringing another entrepreneur on the show, and we'll talk about how they also are doing well in their businesses. From me to you, to everyone out there, have a great weekend. Bye.